Karma. 1. My main source of suffering is my boss. He is the most evil person living on this planet. If I can change my job, I will be a happier person, as then I will not have to work with this terrible person. 2. My main source of suffering is my illness. If I am able to overcome this illness, I will be the happiest person alive. 3. My main source of suffering is an unsteady job. I am unable to find or retain a job for long. I don't have money to feed my family. I just want to have some steady income to become happy. These are some of the situations we face almost on a daily basis, where the source of the problem is attributed to people and the environment outside of ourselves. Looking at these situations on face of it, these are in fact correct and caused by external forces. This secular mind has the tendency to blame anything and everything which is a cause of suffering on people around us, which is quite a natural human tendency. But the law which governs life thinks otherwise. The first thought which arises in our mind when are face to face with the suffering is why me? Buddhism says why not you? If we try to look at these situations from the Buddhist perspective, the root cause of all these sufferings lie within us only. To simply understand this, these sufferings are the effects of the causes we created in our past. It's the karma which is catching up. Then the question arises, why does this particular suffering keeps resurfacing? It should come once, make me suffer and then vanish. Buddhism says, that is why it is karma. Any suffering which keeps resurfacing is a karmic suffering. It will not leave you until you work on it to expiate that karma. Just by changing that particular job, or changing your boss or getting better after taking that medicine will not eradicate the karma. Please note that I am particularly taking about repeated suffering and not the ones which come and go and never come back again. Your karma will follow you where you go. Even if you are able to change your job, the karma will follow and once again you will be in the same situation with your new boss. Just by changing the place, karma will not vanish. The faces in your environment might change, but the deep-rooted karma will follow wherever you go. And that applies to all the above situations. Buddhism explains 3 basic types of karma which decides the amount of suffering in our life and or the good fortune we will encounter in our life. These 3 are 1. Relationship karma, example 1-2. Health karma, example 2-3. Financial karma, example 3. The root cause for all our sufferings can be traced back to one or a combination of these 3. The above given situations are examples of these 3 basic karmic sufferings. Now the question arises what I as a human can do to expiate my karma. First and the foremost, it's very important to understand that karma is not always negative. Buddhism talks about good karma as well. So if you can introspect and go deeper inside and try to see that good things too are happening in your life. Ask yourself whether I have 4 walls to go back home to rest myself and then see around you, if everyone you can see can do the same. Ask yourself, will I be able to arrange 3 meals for myself today, and how many will be deprived of this basic need? And so on. Is this not your good fortune and your good karma? So the first and the foremost action point is to have gratitude for what you have. Without gratitude, the bank balance of bad karma cannot be negated. Second most important action point is acceptance. Accepting that the root cause of this suffering lies in the causes I have created in my past. Just acknowledging and owning responsibility for your actions in the past starts the process of expiation of karma. Stop blaming others for your suffering and work towards creating a land where humanity can coexist in harmony. Making a firm determination that from this moment onward, I will only create good causes so that in my future only positive effects will be manifested. Equip yourself with the knowledge. Prevention is always better than the cure. Challenge yourself to acquire the knowledge of karma, how karma is created and how it is manifested in our lives. Karma is the basis on which whole life philosophy of Buddhism is based. This topic is a study in itself. There are vast resources available to gain knowledge on this topic. I will try to share my limited knowledge on this topic, but you should struggle to study beyond this too. As this is an ongoing struggle, we need to remind ourselves each moment to only create good causes. As Buddhism explains, karma is created in a 3-step process. Each step is a process in itself. 1. The first stage is of the thought which originates from our mind. As soon as we think, karma is created. If it's a good thought, it manifests into a good effect. But if it's a negative thought, about anything or anyone, bad karma is created. So we need to control our thought process so that no further damage is done. 2. These thoughts lead us to speak. The words coming out of our mouth are the next stage of karma creation. If the thought is negative, the words will be based on the same thought process. Here the point to be noted is that if the second stage is also negative, the karmic effect is multiplied. 3. The words lead us to take action. The same process is followed and the karma is multiplied and not just added. So it's the whole exercise of controlling your mind. We need to control our mind and not let the mind control us. A simple thought can lead to multiplication of bad karma. Finding the right teacher. Buddhism is taught and learned through human-to-human interaction. A right teacher is utmost important, as only a teacher can give us the right and unbiased direction. Shedding our egos, that I know it all, is the fundamental requisite to understand this life philosophy. As with this highly polluted mind, we are not able to distinguish between the correct or the incorrect teaching. Be humanistic and have respect for humanity and nature around us. Start believing in the inherent Buddha nature present in each one of us. So if we can have reverence for Buddha, then we can have the same reverence for the people around us, as Buddhism says that the Buddha nature is present in each one of us. So according to the above point, I too have Buddha nature in me. We need to start believing in our own Buddha and the unlimited potential I possess. I am capable to accomplish anything, as I am also a Buddha. This reality is hard to digest, but it's true. One very important learning I would like to share is, as to how we look at the problem. Our perspective towards the problem. A problem is a problem when we consider it as a problem. If we can consider a suffering as an opportunity and work to eradicate it, then it delivers into joy once achieved. Just a shift in how we look at the things and happenings around us can bring happiness and joy in our lives. Take control of your mind and start looking at things from the Buddha's eye and not through these human eyes which can only see evil. Thank you so much for having the patience to read through this long post. But my purpose of writing this will only get accomplished when you are able to apply it in your lives and become a happy person. My best wishes and deep gratitude for all humanity. I am not a Buddhist scholar or an authority on this great life philosophy called Buddhism. I am just another confused soul trying to join the dots who practices Buddhist teachings. The views expressed across this blog are my own personal interpretation of the great teachings of Buddha. Coming out of the Buddha in me, I try to simplify the teachings and keep them short, crisp, and to the point. I sincerely hope these articles bring some sense of sanity in our troubled minds. Though we are so consumed in our own world, our own ego and sufferings, that we have lost the Buddha mind to distinguish between the correct or incorrect teachings. But at the same time, if you are able to distinguish between good and bad, then you have a long way to go to find your own Buddha in you. As according to Buddhism, there is nothing good nor bad. It is just how you interpret. We are all governed by our own karmic patterns, which will make us interpret every thought according to our own karmic mind process. That is why I mention the correct teaching is essential to overcome our karmic mind to convert it to Buddha mind. Since our minds are so accustomed to polluted thoughts, it doesn't register the right teachings right away. Our minds are ingrained to reject the right teachings at the first instance, as the right teachings don't fall in our comfort zone and are contrary to what this mind is accustomed to. Mind will certainly say that this article is a crap, or maybe sometimes it will say that it's a nice article, but in any case, it will register nothing as a teaching which we can imbibe in our lives and live accordingly. If you really want to make a difference in your own life, please read and reread it over and over. Uncomplicate. Simplify life. Let's create a humanistic society based on compassion and reverence for all humanity.